La Roma is one of the most popular neighborhoods for tourists in Mexico City. We've stayed in a few different areas of Mexico City before, like the Centro Histórico, Reforma, and Santa Maria la Ribera. On our most recent visit, we stayed in La Roma Norte for the first time, and I wanted to spend at least one day exploring the neighborhood. But I had a hard time finding what tourist sites were actually there. Most tourists seem to stay for the cute streets and delicious but often expensive restaurants and coffee shops. I wanted to experience more of the area on a budget, so here's what you can actually do in La Roma besides eat at expensive and maybe even overpriced restaurants. We started off in the morning with an audio guide walking tour from VoiceMap. If you're a subscriber, you know I love using their audio tours to learn more about destinations I'm visiting without the high cost or crowds that can come with other tours. We started our tour at Plaza Luis Cabrera, one of the main parks in La Roma Norte. As we walked, we learned about famous people throughout history who lived here, like Sarah Madero, the wife of Mexican revolutionist and president Francisco Madero, and about the history of the La Roma and nearby Condesa neighborhoods. Both were developed starting in early 1900s, and even with being affected by earthquakes in 1985 and 2017, they still have an impressive collection of Art Deco and Art Nouveau architecture. The guided tour was particularly helpful to point out specific buildings like the Casa Prunes. While on our tour, we stopped at one of my favorite chains in Mexico, Churreria El Moro. One of the oldest churrerias in Mexico, they have various locations throughout the city and even recently opened one in Southern California. The churros are great, and you can get coffee or hot chocolate to dip your churros in. If it's too hot out for hot chocolate, try a cold chocolate instead. I actually prefer it to the hot chocolate even. They also have mole and pastor sandwiches if you're feeling like real food too. We continued walking and visited Pushkin Park, named after Russia's most famous poet after they gifted a bust of his head to the park, and La Romita, the original central plaza of the town before it was developed. We learned more of the history of the neighborhood, like the reason all the streets here are named after states in Mexico is because the original developer had a circus and the streets are named after all the states the circus performed in. Walking along Puebla Street, we admired the Casa del Libro and the Iglesia de la Sagrada Familia before reaching the Plaza Rio de Janeiro, with a replica of Michelangelo's David in the center of a fountain. Just around the corner is Panaderia Rosetta. This bakery is very hyped on social media and always listed as a must visit. We decided to try it one morning and it was very good. It's a bit expensive for Mexico though, so while worth a try if you're interested, make sure you also try more traditional Mexican breakfast foods as well, like Mexican sweetbread, chilaquiles, tortas de tamal, my personal favorite, and tacos de canasta. At this point, we were ready for lunch and decided to extend our walking tour and walk to Jardín Ramón López Velarde for unique quesadillas. It's only a 15-minute walk, a little more than half a mile, but if you don't feel like walking, you can take the Metrobús from Jardín Pushkin to Dr. Marquez for 5 pesos. Now, these aren't just any quesadillas. These quesadillas are shaped like 3D sculpted dinosaurs. And not only can you pick your fillings, you can also pick your dinosaurs. Can you tell which dinosaurs we picked? The line was about an hour long when we got there at 12:30, but was much shorter around 2, so consider stopping by outside of peak hours or a little bit earlier in the morning since they do run out of certain fillings. When they're making your quesadillas, you can play a game where the group behind you picks a dinosaur from a book and you get to make your own mini dinosaur quesadilla that you later get to keep and eat. The food and service was great, and each quesadilla was only 30 pesos. I'd recommend stopping by for some unique, delicious, and fun quesadillas. Just keep in mind they're only open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Our next stop may not apply to everyone, but it was heaven for my basketball-loving husband. 2345 AirTime is a basketball store with shoes and apparel like many other stores. But, unlike other stores, they have an outdoor court on the roof. You can reserve it by the hour for a really affordable price of 200 pesos, which is currently about $12. Of course, we had to reserve the court for later that night. While waiting for our court time, we crossed over into the Condesa neighborhood to Parque Mexico. This large park is a central hub of the neighborhood, with many people visiting to play sports, walk their dogs, and enjoy time as a family. Another churreria El Moro is located right across the street, so we got churro ice cream sandwiches and spent some time relaxing in the park. What can I say? I really love El Moro. We went back to 2345 AirTime for our court time, and Neffy spent an hour shooting baskets, and I relaxed on the couch after a long day of walking. They have a seating area, table, and even a grill, so it would be a fun and unique stop if you have a group that loves basketball. Once we finished at 2345 AirTime, we went for tacos. We did leave the La Roma Condesa area and went to Tacos Tony and Benito Juarez since some friends recommended it. But it was just okay though, and we didn't love it. Our first night, we ate at a taqueria not far from our Airbnb in La Roma that we loved. It's called Tacos Chanito, and it's just a little stall on the street, but they were amazing and affordable, so if you're looking for delicious tacos with no frills in La Roma, we'd highly recommend it. Being one of the most popular neighborhoods to stay, there wasn't a lot to do in the area, especially on a budget. Prices are going up in these neighborhoods as well as more and more remote workers move to Mexico City, making it harder for locals. We enjoyed our stay and had fun exploring, but spent most of our trip outside the neighborhood. Depending on what you value, staying in another area might work better for you. La Roma and Condesa are worth a visit for the architecture at least though. Let me know what you think. I hope this guide helps you plan your trip. Thanks for traveling with us, and we'll see you next time.